Hello and welcome to Wake and Jake with myself, King Davis Wimbledon in the corner. Hope everyone had a fantastic sports weekend. Obviously, the football was showing off. Although not a ton of great games, some moments. That Kittle catch, we'll remember that. We'll circle up on the football in a minute. Let's go circle up on some baseball. We didn't do any baseball last week because it's about that time of year, huh? We really hit the dry spell. Can only talk about Correa so many times. I guess what's the next? You think there will be a Bauer update? Could be on the timeline. Could not be on the timeline, right?
There's a chance it is never on the timeline.
It's a chance
anything can happen there.
It's a chance we don't talk about that for a little bit. But what we can talk about is that there was a big trade. Pablo Lopez from the Marlins, who had been rumored to be traded for a while now. The Marlins, one of the few teams with pitching depth and haven't been able to hit for the entirety of their franchise outside of the World Series years. Congratulations, Marlins fans. Pablo Lopez is traded to the Twins in a little bit of a surprise. With a couple prospects for Luis Arraez, the kind of the full-blown breakout year from Luis Arraez, the however you want to look at it, whether he's utility, super utility, or he doesn't have a position. But he did go to the All-Star game last year. He got MVP votes. He was your batting champion, Silver Slugger. I love the way Luis Arraez hits. It's obviously contacty, bless you, BBD. But last year, 316, 375, a 420 slugging, which is nothing to sneeze at, a 130 OPS plus, 795 OPS. Now, he is one of the few players that OPS should not matter as much.
It should be consumed a little differently.
Yes, he's measured on batting average and on base percentage. Like, 375 is a real number. That's, for some of the contacty guys that you think of, even when they're hitting around 300, some of those guys are, 313 on base. The Eddie Rosarios, the Eddie Escobars. How about that? A couple Eddies. 375 is a real on base percentage. And the other thing, and something that I went back to with Big Aaron Judge a lot last year, very different players. Look at the career numbers. Luis Arraez, he is 25. He turns 26 in April. Career, 314, 374, 410, 784. So, last year, his best full year. He had a very nice rookie year in 2019. Last year, his best full year, more walks than strikeouts. Didn't mention that on Talking Baseball. Wish we did. I know how horned up that gets Trev. 50 walks, 43 strikeouts. The dude's a different breed. 120 OPS plus career lifetime. Like, he should be on the up and up. More walks than strikeouts career. This dude is real. The bat-to-ball skills are amazing. It looks a little different than he does it. There's a little pop there. 31 doubles. I mean,
he's not just slapping it.
For what he's doing, it's more than enough. It's more than enough. And this guy at the top of any lineup, or maybe I should say most lineups, is a problem and a dude you just don't want to see. You are not in the driver's seat. He is. You're kind of hoping that he hits it at somebody.
He's the preeminent doesn't strike out guy in baseball for a few years now.
These stats are silly. He's 25. He just won another batting title. I would probably bet at the DraftKings Sportsbook that he wins another one. You can place a bunch of bets at DraftKings Sportsbook. The football that we're getting to in a little bit, they've got $5. Bet $5 on either game this weekend, and you'll get $200 in free bonus bets. They got their same game parlay. Bet on whatever you want. I placed a few this weekend. Ups and downs. That's what I'll say. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BAKERS. New customers can bet $5 on any NFL team, any playoff game, and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code BAKERS. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. So, this guy, Luis Arraez, that I love so much, if the Yankees traded for him, my God, I'd be going bananas. Bananas.
Yanks were a team his offense is very much a fit on, and it's most teams.
Also, if anybody, we have a violin player at our wedding, and we need a couple good songs for the violin. If you know any good violin covers, maybe
know
comment
songs
below.
that play on
That
violin.
play on the violin. I spent not most of my yesterday, but I spent a good chunk listening to violin covers. They were kind of nice. A little relaxing.
I imagine, like, when you find a good one, like, that can really
Oh,
hit.
yeah, it slaps.
That's why you're doing it.
Different level. And Levels by Avicii is in play. So Luis Arraez, player I like so much. Pablo Lopez, a nice starting pitcher. You know, guy can give you a 2-3 starting pitcher effort over the course of a full season. And Twins fans, I know they're hurting from Arraez because what that brings every day, and Jimmy was on this on Talking Baseball, Jimmy was on this on Talking Yanks this year, with your Joey Gallo types and some of the new guys in baseball that are pop only, and Joey Gallo, by the way, new Minnesota Twin, what Luis Arraez brings on an everyday basis is insane. He's going to put the ball on the bat 4 times a game. And that just gives you a chance. And he won the batting title. And that's a guy that, you know, there's heartstrings there. Called up in your org, still young. He's got kind of a thick face to him. People like that.
There's a chance he was going to be a guy that you, like, just had forever.
I mean, this is a guy that, in theory, if you lock him up to one of those Braves extensions, which is possible, right? Because he doesn't play too much defense currently.
He's got 3 years of control left right now.
3 years of control. If you wanted to throw a 5-year extension on there, like, you know, you're looking at a guy that's going to have a chance to compete for the batting title for 8 years. That's a player you love. So Twins fans were a little bummed. But I think baseball-wise, they're stoked. They had another pitcher, Pablo Lopez. He's currently slated as their one, which it's an interesting scope.
I think they have a couple guys with the same argument for it.
I mean, yes. Sonny Gray, and Joe Ryan, you know, pick out of a hat on any given day. Tyler Mahle, don't forget about him, man. He got hurt. He's had a couple nice years with the Reds. Kenta Maeda coming back. And Chris Paddock, who they just locked up to an extension, actually. He should be back at some point this year. But they have pitching, and this was the point.
And on their pitching depth, like Bailey Ober, nice year last year.
Sure, he's a pitcher.
He's now there.
Major league guy.
He's now in AAA to start this year, it looks like.
Josh Winder, AJ Alexi, Simeon Woods.
Guys who showed stuff.
Louis Varland, we've talked about him before. That the Twins, they have a little pitching depth. And the part I drove home, man, Jorge Lopez and Duran at the back of their bullpen, that is the best 8th, 9th inning, potentially 7, 8, 9, that the Twins have had in my memory. Maybe going back to everyday Eddie Guardado with Troy Hawkins. They have Pagan back there, Teal Bar, like Alcala can twirl it. So the Twins have fully addressed their pitching. They trade from their hitting depth. The lineup doesn't look as impressive as past years, if I am being honest. Buxton, Correa, Polanco, Kepler and Gallo, guys that are hoping to regress back up with less shifts. Jose Miranda kind of broke out for them last year. He is now fully slated in, and they need him to be good with Arraez being out. Be real. Kirilloff is around, you know, former top prospect. He kind of hasn't gotten it the full go. Remember, he got his debut in the playoffs for the Twins, and we did some LOL Twins there. Christian Vasquez behind the dish, love that. And then they got options, Nick Gordon, Larnack. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in a veteran, whether it's a Luke Voigt or I saw a couple other, David Peralta. I don't know. They've got a couple more at-bats to be had. And
they're still rumored to have another outfield move.
Right, they've been rumored in some other trades, so we'll see if anything else happens there. But, you know, they have a couple at bats to be had, and if you had told Twins fans, hey, you can have Pablo Lopez, Arraez is out, and say they do add a veteran, like a Peralta or Luke Voigt or whoever it is, if I told you Lopez and Luke Voigt or Lopez and Peralta versus Arraez, I think you say Pablo Lopez. I think. So let's see what else the Twins do. I'm starting to drink some Twins Kool-Aid, which, that's not a phrase you say a lot. And if you've had some egg on your face. And going back to a couple weeks when we did the Wake and Jake winners and losers, biggest graphic in Wake and Jake history. Let me see if I can get there quick. I think I had the Twins as they were losers, which I don't think you could say that anymore.
Yeah.
It was
And that was
free agency.
It was pre-Correa.
Correa wasn't there yet.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you're a Twins fan, you have to be on cloud nine. You've brought in Correa. You've brought in Pablo Lopez. And, by the way, maybe I'm too optimistic, but Joey Gallo should be better. Maybe.
I can't imagine he'll be any worse.
If he's worse, he's not playing. So I guess that's the game you're playing.
Getting him the year shifts go away is a gamble worth taking.
If he's anything like
the wind park.
If he's anything like a previous version of Joey Gallo, the Twins have some hope. Or him and Kepler could be bad. The other side of this trade, the Marlins. And hey, I love the player they got. And they needed hitting. And Arraez has an extra year compared to Pablo Lopez, and I think that's kind of why the prospects got kicked in there. They're long shots. They're kids. Hey, if one of them clicks, you guys know it'll be a fun anecdote that we'll talk about for 15 years. If they don't, you'll never hear from them again. Baseball, Susan. I mentioned that Luis Arraez, if he was added to almost any other team.
Like the pure value, like it, but
I'm going to do a win sprint right now. Orioles, sure, upstart last year. Knock yourself out. Boston, they always hit team identity, pencil them in for another batting title. White Sox needed hitting. Cleveland always, they had hitting, but you'd like them. Why not? Up-and-coming team. Detroit, literally nobody hits at all, so yeah, you'd like that. Royals, maybe not. I don't know.
I'd even,
They've
like
got some young
Guardians,
guys.
they do, Quan does
They
that
don't
for
need
them.
him, but you'd say he's a good piece for them.
He's not the ideal fit. But
Angels, we probably LOL Angels, but what if I told you Luis Arraez was hitting in front of Trout and Ohtani? I wouldn't LOL that. That'd be dope. Twins, kind of covered them. Yankees covered them. Oakland, all right. Don't count, basically.
No
Seattle, we'd get hype. Rays, we'd get hype. Texas Rangers, we'd get hype. Toronto, we'd get super hype. The dude would lead the league in runs scored. National League, Snakes, okay, bite your tongue. Braves, sure, go win a batting title, score a bunch of runs. Cubs, sure, they're rebranding. Cincinnati, no. They're kind of sad. Rockies, Dodgers, absolutely. Milwaukee, sure, we drink all the Brewers Kool-Aid we can.
Yeah.
Mets, why not? Jeff McNeil 2.0. Phillies, absolutely. Pirates, okay. Even they've had like a little tilt up
bit.
that we'd be like, all right. Kutch,
like we'd be like, I
Brian
thought they'd
Reynolds,
go for
Arraez,
some more pop, but
Key
all
Brian
right.
Hayes, G-Man. I'd have fun with it. Padres, absolutely. Giants, yes. Cardinals, yes. Nats, no. So, just burning through the 30 teams. Marlins are one of 5 that it doesn't super jazz me up. Now, it can. The problem is their division, and they don't have the pop. They brought in Gene Segura this offseason, who we like, Gene. More so bottom of the lineup, but he can be up there and slap it around and get some hits. Jazz Chisholm, 25. He is projected to have a 25-25 year. He's low-key a stud. Garrett Cooper is nice. Avisail Garcia can be nice. Jorge
Needs a bounce
Soler
back, but nice.
can be hot. So with the rise at the top of this lineup, they're just missing. What I said on Talking Baseball was the Ronald Acuna Jr. They're missing basically an MVP candidate, which is really tough.
Like a lot of teams would say that.
Because, any team is missing an MVP candidate in their division. I just don't know what it means. And, hey, maybe we'll find out. The shift is going away. The Marlins are reportedly in on Yuli Gurriel, another guy who's won a batting title recently. It's past reportedly in. Like they're saying he's signing. It's just kind of a matter of dollars and cents, if you will.
That's what a contract is in a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways. I don't know, man.
They had been rumored sort of all off season to be in. They were going to trade their pitching depth for like capital I impact bat.
Right.
And Arraez, yes, is that. I love the player.
He is.
They needed like lefty thump.
They need.
But if they
need thump.
Yeah, they need thump in general. Soler and Garcia bounce back. Feels like we're asking a lot, but
yeah, I don't know. And you wonder if there's something up, and that's where I could like the Arraez move. If their next trade is, they've got a bunch of young pitchers: Luzardo, Edward Cabrera, Trevor Rogers, Max Meyer, Sixto Sanchez. That's without mentioning Sandy. If they can have, and by the way, the other guy who's supposed to be an absolute dude, Yuri Perez, is a number 2 overall prospect in baseball. He's supposed to be kind of next for them. He's a freak show, I think. Yeah, 6'8". So if he enters the timeline, say next year, who's going to be their next Pablo Lopez? Is it Edward Cabrera if he has a big year? If they could then trade him for the thump, then do we have something in Miami?
Do they got some kid we don't know about yet that they really believe in?
In the value of the trade, I can be talked into it. You just always wish there's more in Miami, and it's a little bit of a bummer, right? Because can this team go pole to pole with the Mets, the Phillies, the Braves? No. I wonder what the next thing is. Because it's either at the trade deadline this year or it's next offseason. And, hey, maybe it's part of a Kim Ng masterpiece that we haven't yet found out. Value-wise, it's not awful at all. Like I said, especially if they were to lock up Arraez. And even if they don't, I mean, through 2026,
3 years of
2025, 3 years. So he's a guy who I said is going to compete for the batting title with. You either need something else around it. If you're going to compete for a batting title, you need a little bit of power or get on base. He gets on base. He has good at bats. So
gets on base, gets the doubles. He fakes it at kind of every position. So I guess wherever the hole is, all right, that's where he'll be. Seems like second base for this year.
I know I keep saying it, and I doubt it'll ever happen because it's in division. And he's on that team-friendly contract, and I might be buying stock in him to win MVP this year. Ronald Acuna Jr., who there's some rumors he's not the most beloved guy in Atlanta. I mean, that I was saying that coyly, but, him not running the bases and, he's had a couple lackadaisical moments, and is it his team? It was Freddie's, and then Freddie left, and then Ronnie's been out. They won the World Series without him. If Ronald Acuna had a couple moments and ended up, I don't know, on a trade block, and there was kind of a blockbuster, say Sandy got involved, Sandy for Ronald Acuna Jr. I mean, Ronald Acuna Jr., Jazz Chisholm, cleaning up after Arraez, Segura, some other guys. I don't know. Do I like that team more? I have no idea. Unfortunately, with the Marlins, it becomes a lot of a moot point. Good for the Twins. Twins fans circled up on this a couple weeks ago. You did not have Carlos Correa. You did not have Pablo Lopez. Out for those two is technically Arraez. I know one's a free agent. And we'll see if Kepler gets in the mix or anything. But the Twins have kind of turned their offseason around and what their outlook looks like for the season in a couple moves. And that's the difference here. The Marlins' outlook for this season has not changed.
Yeah.
It hasn't. What Pablo Lopez can bring you and what Luis Arraez will bring you does not change the outcourse of their season. So you hope this is the start of a couple moves for the Marlins, that when those other injured pitchers I mentioned are healthy, leads to something else. But as of right now,
can't.
Fourth in the East.
It's like, ceiling.
Fourth in the East.
The Jazz part, Like, he's like a good second baseman, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's like so much more of a risk than we're giving credit for. Like, he has the athleticism and the skill for it to all work, but they got him and Gene are both like good defensive second baseman, and Arraez is gonna get it over there.
Their infield's still a mess because I mean Segura's listed at third.
Yeah,
And he
they
can
said
play
like
there,
that's the plan. So
I
like,
mean,
what's happening?
this team's like a shortstop. If they had a great power hitting shortstop, if they had Correa, I mean that would do. Correa's a $200 million player. I'm not even going to do that game. Jazz Chisholm says he's going to win the Gold Glove. I'm
excited to see it because position changes are fun to see.
I think he's going to be good. But there's going to be learning curve and all that.
And he's got time to figure it out.
There's going to be, Money Mike in Atlanta. He might be, third best center fielder in his division. So I love the confidence from Jazz. I bet he's nasty out there. Crazy sprint percentile, and if you've caught a fly ball, you can catch a fly ball, but to be good at it, there is another level to it. And I don't know. I don't know where Miami's at with Jazz. I don't know where Jazz is at with Miami. Hey, this team has a chance to be fun. Jazz, Segura, Arraez. They bring in Yuli. It's kind of Miami vibes.
They come pitch.
South Bish. Good for the Twins. Hopefully good for the Marlins in a couple years or something. But otherwise, funky little MLB offseason trade. Let's see what the next one is. Feels like we're still due. We're going to
get another
good one, Another something juicy.